Meanwhile, in the murder shed.
What?
Hi, it's us again, deep in the Amazon.
We're watching these obscure movies.
So you don't have to.
All right, so we're going to start with a movie we've heard of and find the first recommended movie we haven't, and I have not heard of any of these movies. We might need to save Zomblies for later, but has anybody heard of Powderburn? Because that was first.
I've never heard
I've
of
never heard
Powderburn.
of any of these.
Okay, so everybody look away so that
That
we are
was
unbiased. We're always
fast.
hoping to find...
It is Amazon.
We don't want to read the description. We don't want to see the star rating. We're hoping to find good movies, so we'd like to be unbiased. Okay, here we go. Powderburn.
I regret everything.
Well, I've always been attracted to older men. How about you?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I really like older men.
Oh, dude, Neil Breen's about to show up.
Did we accidentally start a softcore porn?
Yeah, this has got a very Cinemax vibe. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
I
that's
appreciate
such
it. I appreciate
it as well.
2 hours later.
Okay.
Holy shit.
All right, well, Rochambeau.
Yeah, I guess.
1, 2, 3, go. Lost. I lost. Okay.
So the plot itself
Shut
is...
the
Yeah,
fuck
you
off.
can't do it. You got it's he lost, man.
Huh.
Why don't you guys just tell me what's going on, huh?
Okay, the plot of this movie is, and it's the first time I've ever seen a completely incompetent Mary Sue. His name was Jack Keller.
Yeah, P.I. How'd you find out about me?
Like everybody, he's just a blank canvas of nonsense. He is hired by Chester the molester.
I need to meet with you.
So he was hired by a molester.
Can't do it, man. It's because I see his face whenever you say it.
I have this uncomfortable situation, and I'm not sure how to deal with it.
Well, why don't you just come out and ask her, honey? You screwing anybody?
No, I wouldn't tell the truth, would you?
Is this your first wife?
She's my first wife, but I'm her second husband.
So there's kind of a weird family tree going on in this movie, specifically about this family. You have the molester who is married to the wife he's suspicious of about cheating on him.
See you later. Lori, check the machine. He's inept at it.
Is she cheating on me? Well, she went out in an overcoat and a bra, so...
But then they have a daughter, Lori, who is the second main character of this movie, I guess.
Who are you?
Roman's daughter. Stepdaughter.
Where's your mother?
You mean Tracy? She's my stepmother. It's complicated.
Oh my god.
It's not very complicated.
Her dad died, and then the stepmom married again and married the molester, and so that's how you get a girl with 2 step-parents. God, this movie is just all over the place. So the molester hires Jack Keller to investigate his wife who's having an affair, and so when Jack Keller edits his way to where the woman is having an affair...
No, we have to talk about his
Super editing powers.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. You just osmosed into his car.
I honestly think he has editing powers. When Jack Keller edits his way to where the woman is having an affair, he snaps a couple of photographs for their 5-minute sex scene. Or no, I shouldn't say that. He snaps a couple of pictures during their 5-minute lovemaking encounter. It's not the scene that took 5 minutes. They actually confirm in the movie that the lovemaking took 5 minutes.
Yeah, they do.
These are from yesterday?
4 p.m. At 4:05 p.m., this guy's dead.
She leaves 5 minutes later, and then he hears a gunshot from somewhere, and then runs inside to find the guy is dead, that she was having an affair with, and then he gets hit in the head and passes out, and when he wakes up, the cops exist. So I guess he got out of that room through the window, but is now inside.
I'm curious because what the fuck?
He's being chased
By a cop that we just met.
There is so much of this movie that I think they cut out of something.
Excuse me.
Oh my god.
That's great. They were just there for that. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. He finds the one roof where there's a photo shoot of some models going on so he can grope them on his way past. Gets to the top of the building, which would be a dead end, but instead he finds some planks and then I think edits the building closer
Yes, he does.
than it was before so that he can walk across the planks, and then he edits the
building's
planks
further
off,
apart.
the thing, and so the cops can't follow him and he gets away.
Yep.
Just use the power of editing. You can just be down there. You've done that multiple times. Jack Keller returns to the house that the molester lives in, and this is when you're first introduced to Laurie.
Someone kidnapped Kelly Bundy?
Can't be Kelly Bundy. No one cheered when she got out of the car.
Laurie is Tara Reid from The Big Lebowski, but unironically.
Oh, that must be exhausting.
It's just a deeply sexist, disturbed, and troubled character. And like, you can almost forgive the movie for a second by trying to be sexy or something, you know, PI stuff.
Yeah.
But then she lets him into the house and then immediately starts asking him to touch her hair and gets within like 3 inches of him.
I just cut my hair. Do you like it?
Oh, you're crazy.
Yeah, it's nice.
Bye.
Feel it. I just got this really great conditioner.
Oh, you're really crazy.
It's really smooth.
And he's not really having any of it. And so they're also trying to establish that Jack Keller is like, you know, a badass guy that always does the right thing, but there's a countdown to him sleeping with her. So I don't know what they were trying to accomplish there.
It was really great to meet you.
Sheriff, Mr. Becker, could you come in here, please?
Listen, why don't you just pay me the money you owe me? I'm sure things are gonna work out between you and your wife. You pay me the money you owe me, I'll sidestep this whole issue. Even the frame-up.
Oh wait, please tell me you had time between all this to get the photos developed.
Yeah. But they're all blurry. Just pay what you said you would pay me and I'm going to get out of this movie. And then, once having been paid, Jack Keller turns around and absolutely does not leave the movie. The daughter, Laurie, follows him outside and kind of propositions, hits on him. And he says no, and then says, meet me at the top of the hill. And he just drives off and meets her 40 or 50 miles away in a completely different part of this city to pick her up at the top of the hill. I don't remember the order in which she propositions him in different ways, but like, she offers something in this scene.
You know, I could see us doing it.
Is that it?
You can't see it?
He's so cool, he's not even tempted.
I thought she was going to get out while the car was still moving. I was so hopeful.
Just tuck and roll.
That's when you get to the cops showing up and accosting Jack Keller for ostensibly no reason. Surprise!
Jack Keller, what the hell is this? Huh?
I always wanted to be a
Wait, is he just holding his arms behind his back?
Sure looks like it.
I'd love to go that far.
You want to?
God, this movie is just all over the place. Okay, so then help me out with this scene, actually, because they're going to threaten him. I'm unclear as to why.
You up for murder one, my friend?
Crazy.
The car was found at the scene. The place was covered with your prints.
What the going on?
Tiller, I would give you the time of day.
I'm still in there. Unlike you. Now what the hell's going
I
on?
love their Foley guy.
Why don't you guys just tell me what's going on, huh?
The cops know everything that's going on
For real, they know.
in
yes.
this movie. If the cops are there to find out who hired him, which they already know the answer to, and if part of the Jack Keller getting hired was to set him up for a murder so they could get rid of the Chris character, the trustee, then why are the cops there at all? I still don't think there's an actual reason.
Because they needed a scene where they got into a fight with the cops?
You man, you want to go? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Oh, okay. All right. Go on.
That's it.
Who's the husband?
Go fish.
Jack, look.
If it is all a setup, They should have arrested Jack Keller at that point. Like, that would have made a little more sense in the movie, right? But instead, they make a deal with him for information that they already know. No
right,
point.
he doesn't know that they know that.
Right.
And so, okay. And so when you're in this portion of the movie,
It kind of makes...
it works to get him back in the movie.
Yeah, that's really all it does.
So, okay. But when you've seen the whole movie, their motivation makes no sense. I was so hoping that was going to happen. So what happens right after that scene?
Why don't you guys just tell me what's going on, huh?
The editing is so bad that I genuinely lose.
He goes back to the... After that scene, he goes back to the construction site.
Who are you?
How you doing, guys? I'm with Architectural Weekly. I'm doing a little thing on
You got a card?
developments. You know what? Actually, guys, I got to get some new cards printed up.
He's back in the movie.
He's back in the movie
right?
now.
But for some reason, he goes to the construction site to
Right.
take pictures. There's a fight at the construction site, and the two guys that are meant to guard the construction site, for whatever reason, assault him because he's probably not supposed to be there. They figure out he's lying, that he's a PI.
Architectural Weekly.
Yeah.
We hate Architectural Weekly. Do it.
Oh man, he's a fucking Star Trek fighting him. Yeah, it's
Foley
All right,
in this
buddy, hold it
movie
right
is
there.
amazing.
It's so good.
He ain't gonna do it.
That tussle lasts long enough for Jack Keller to be like, screw this, and he just shoots one of them in the leg and steps on it a couple times.
Yeah.
And then leaves, I think. So I remember that scene, but what happens next?
This riveting U-turn. Glad they left that in. When does he pick up Lori again? Because she stays the night at his house.
No, she's just in his bed.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, right. Oh,
Okay.
Okay, yes.
How'd you find out where I lived?
I have my ways.
Maybe you ought to put something on.
I can't sleep in clothes.
Why does she want his help? She knows something's going on.
Because I think doesn't she suspect her stepmother?
So Chris Sterner's your trustee and Tracy starts having an affair with him?
Tacky, isn't it?
He agrees to help her, and she immediately sexually assaults him again.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, come on.
What?
There's other ways to express yourself besides sexually. Like money.
Okay. She still wants to sleep with him. He refuses to sleep with her, trying to be a gentleman. Then it cuts to him locked in a trunk of a moving car for a second, but it turns out that he's just sleeping on the couch because he's being a gentleman. And while he's being a gentleman, she sneaks out of the bedroom, crouches down in front of his sleeping body, and licks in between his lips.
Repeated
Several times.
Oh, it's disgusting.
That is some creepy shit.
Dude, that is fucked
Yeah.
up.
I also kind of like it.
It is the creepiest fucking thing I think I've
And
ever
then
seen.
crawls into the couch with him, and when he wakes up, she's not there. He witnesses her getting picked up by her stepdad, the molester, who then stands up and like does a little pirouette so that we know for sure, and then gets in and drives away. And then I've lost the thread of the movie again, because some stuff happens.
Why don't you guys just tell me what's going on, huh?
God, this movie is just all over the place.
You're right that she leaves again. She goes back home, and there's a confrontation between...
She goes back home, and that's when she talks to her stepmom.
You were sleeping with him?
Lori, please.
You were sleeping with my trustee.
Do you ever think of anyone but yourself? Or is that just the way it is?
I think of you sometimes. You and Dad.
Gross.
I don't think about you at all.
Lori goes and stands by the window, and the molester comes up and proves why we call him the molester.
I'd love to talk to you more often.
Yikes.
How do we get from where you're at to the mom in the Jackie O costume?
How do you get from that scene to the next scene? And the answer is just the next scene. It just seems like there should be more going on.
Can I help you?
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, I know who you are. Look, I'm not someone who goes around killing people.
What's he doing here?
Honey, where's Lori?
I don't know. I left her shopping.
Does she talk about being blackmailed by the cop here?
Yes.
Okay.
That's like, I think all she says, she just takes 5 minutes to say it.
The molester comes in the middle of this scene with the tie to end all ties.
Oh,
What's he doing here?
He comes in and he's not happy that Jack Keller's there because he thought Jack Keller was out of this. So I forget exactly how they got outside to the porch. Editing. But outside the porch, they have this moment where Jack Keller asks them a series of reasonable questions, and they have to say to each one, we can't do that because there's actually more illegal shit that we're doing.
Well, then why don't you just call the cops and you people can...
Because of the fraud.
So each time they tell him what's going on, they tell him they're telling him the whole story.
So far, we've got murder, we've got fraud.
We didn't have anything to do with that murder. Tracy should have gotten half of it if it wasn't for that real chintzy prenuptial. We needed the cash to live on. Now it's out of control. We stopped a long time ago, but we got this partner, Nolan.
Well, then why don't you just call the cops?
We can't do that. There's a cop who's been extorting us. He's turned a 20 million project into a 50 million one with all the overruns going directly to him.
So why don't you just call the cops, let the chips fall where they will, and Diller's gonna get his.
I can't do that.
With the paper shuffling, the double billing, and the phony loans, we were able to siphon off a lot of cash. We're both pretty scared now.
They tell him the whole story, and then 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 someone snipers the wife with an AK-47.
Yes.
I got a gun. I can handle things.
AK-47 sniper shot.
God, this movie is just all over the place.
So then Jack Keller reacts to that by getting the molester back in the house and chasing him upstairs.
Come on, Froman. Get up.
He's sniping from the window of the house they're on.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the guy with the AK-47 has found an infinity reality window that has the vantage point of all points in time and space at once.
Yep.
Because he's always shooting through a window, no matter where they are, and he's still almost always hitting them. And they fall like 3 stories, right? And they bounce into a chain link fence. The molester hits the chain link fence, thinks about it for a minute, and then decides to be unconscious while Jack is getting up and asks him to leave. They run to the front of the house where they fucking started. And that's the next big editing powers moment is the molester abandons Jack Keller to his fate. Jack Keller is pinned down on the porch from a guy who can still somehow shoot him from a window. And then it's building in intensity and you feel the pressure and the tension and how does he get out of that situation? And the answer is he does, because he's driving away. He doesn't get in his car. He doesn't start his engine. He doesn't dodge bullets while he does so. He is just out of there. He escapes that situation and then finds Lori on a street corner.
Come on, get in the car.
What's up?
Just get in the car.
Why?
You gotta get out of here.
You seem real serious, Jack.
Just get in. She was shot.
No.
We were all at your house and someone started sniping at us. She got hit. I think you're in danger too.
And then he says, we have to go on the run. That's not what is said, but that's what's meant to be conveyed by the end of that scene. So now they're on the run, and now they break into the construction site.
Yes.
And they break into the construction site to try to find the abstract, nebulous concept of documents that would prove things.
Yes. How do they break into the construction site?
Didn't they just walk in?
They edited through the fence.
Oh yeah, okay. So they edit through the fence, but then Rosencrantz and Guildenstern like show up, and they're back. And even though he shot one of them, and even though they're both unarmed, they go hog wild, bawling ass after them.
Well, no, technically one of those guys got shot in the knee, so he's doing great.
They don't edit to safety this time. They actually just sort of hide. The second they find cover, the 2 guys give up.
You see him?
You can't run, but you can hide, apparently.
I say we try hiding. But that's the opposite of what... Yeah, well, since when are we taking this guy's advice on anything?
Now we're in a part of this movie where the paradigm is they're on the run and literally everybody's looking for them. They go to a hotel. They go inside the hotel long enough for her to get naked, for him to go to a payphone and make 2 phone calls without any change. And so he calls two people. Who does he call? Oh, the first person,
Dillard.
The first person he calls is Dillard, and we get a great moment where I think Dillard is Donald Trump acting like his own secretary.
Yeah, Lieutenant Dillard. Tell him it's Jack Becker.
Jack, seems like everywhere
And he's just there on the line.
Yeah, I got what figured, man.
After that conversation doesn't go anywhere for any reason.
Why don't we get together and we can talk about it?
You.
Yeah, Q.
Call him again. I still don't like you. He then calls somebody in a newspaper so that the editor of the newspaper could say, oh yeah, there's nothing going on here. There was a bunch of shady shit, but we looked into it and there's nothing going on here.
Yep.
That was the whole scene. The next shot is them going back down the elevator they went down. They get shot at when they're getting into their car, and then they have a left turn chase sequence. This is legitimately amazing. I'm not saying it was good, but I really liked that chase scene.
Oh, totally.
Because I don't think I've ever seen a chase scene where everyone only turned left and the cameras only panned left.
Maybe Days of Thunder.
And it went round and round and round.
It's literally going down 6 floors of a parking garage and you got to watch the whole thing.
Okay, so they get away from whoever that was. And so now they're super on the run. He just abandons his car somewhere. We don't see him actually get out. It's just they're now on foot. They go to an abandoned home, an abandoned structure of some kind in the California hills.
Maybe.
They go inside this thing that looks haunted, and he says, that'll do. And so then finally they sleep together.
Right.
And they finally she wants to, and he wants to, and so they sleep together. But before they sleep together, she has what seems to be a throwaway line.
Do you think there's snakes in there? I hate snakes more than anything.
Really like trouser snakes?
And so then they bone. Well, now that you're insane and people are trying to kill you, let's do it.
Yeah.
And now they're sleeping, but it's not naked sleep. It's actually just naked ankles, and there's a snake on them.
This is the best. I have never seen this before in my life.
Oh my God!
Get him out of the house naked.
Oh my God, this is so great.
The snake.
It's my favorite part of the whole movie. I mean,
Mine too.
It just becomes a straight comedy for a second. So they start screaming. They run out of the house, and then there's almost an art house style film. So you have these abstract shots of feet as they're having some dialogue, and sometimes it looks like they're hopping around because it's cold, and sometimes they're not. And then there are these just, what is it, an extreme mid?
It's fucking weird.
They're filling the frame.
They're filling the 4x3.
But from here, and both of them are hugging as if they're cold. They're clearly not. You can't see their breath. He goes inside to kill the snake and comes outside and says, I've killed all 3 snakes. He's warning the snake away with gunfire.
I got all 3 snakes and the clothes. Let's go.
There were 3? The right thing for her to say at that point is, then there are more snakes.
Yes.
If you went in to kill one snake and there were 3 snakes that you killed, there are more snakes. We are not going to sleep here. But they don't sleep there, even though they don't talk about not sleeping there. He just edits them to waking up on a rock.
Oh, he's so drunk he's seeing 3.
That's my favorite scene.
And then they just get up and run.
And they just get up and keep going through the plot of this movie. That moment in the movie, the snake scene, it has no bearing on anything. The movie just stops and becomes ridiculous for a couple minutes and then goes back to the terrible movie we were watching. So then they're just walking through the woods like they're slowly making their way somewhere.
So we're married, and I'm pregnant. Not really. And we live out here in the desert on this little farm, and you make love to me on the kitchen counter.
But now they've slept together, so she starts talking about marriage.
Yes.
She asks him if he loves her, like, what does he think about her? I could see us being married and having kids. My other favorite part of this movie is that he is just like, I don't see that happening.
And then we go to bed at night, this big brass bed, this sea of down comforters.
I don't know if I can handle all that.
I can build your stamina.
I'm only good for about 3 wild romps a week.
3 a week?
Yep.
They go to a farm, and you know it's a farm because there are horseshoes. They get there, and yeah, he just takes a nap.
I wore you out. Cool.
Couldn't figure out how to realign the sound, so he just put in 2 blank frames. They won't notice.
And so 13 seconds later, the truck with the 2 goons shows up.
From the construction site.
There's a terrible shootout.
It
doesn't last very long. He kills one of them. The other one kidnaps Lori and drives away. Fuck yeah. He just edits himself back to his car, but the engine's missing. I think he just then edits to the end of the movie where everybody's gathering.
I think so. I think he edits to their weird ranch house.
Yeah, okay, so now this is where you're finally introduced to your final bad guy. We've got some great character development for this bad guy. He doesn't like airline food, and he needs a classically dressed maid at a ranch. So that tells you everything you need to know about that guy, and he kind of looks like Bernie Madoff.
Need a winter's dinner.
I'll serve it right now if you wish, sir.
Yeah, now it'll be very good. Can't eat that airplane crap.
Topical.
Things here.
That brings us to the final shootout, I guess, right? Yes. Yes. Now it's better than Mission Impossible 2. He's editing around, and the guard is looking for him and can't find him. And then he gets to the window. He knows which window that Lori is being held next to. And he gets to that window, and he tries to open it, and he can't open it, and so he gun butts it. That was amazing.
I guess guns are a tool.
No, he's a tool. The gun is a weapon.
It's my favorite thing I've ever seen done with a gun. He makes one small sound, and then he finds the only other guy in this movie with edit powers, because that guard is immediately punching him in the back of the head. They have a legitimate fight that goes on for a while because they both have editing powers, which cancel each other out. So they have to fight like mortals. Oh, they heard him. Well, they're having tea. But everyone's armed.
Yes.
There seem to be 2 sides. There seems to be Jack Keller's side and then the War of the Seven Kingdoms. And they're all against Jack, but who the fuck knows how they relate to each other?
I know we were on the wrong side because we were on the side watching the screen.
Yeah. It turns out that Bernie Madoff had his goons trained by a Revolutionary War soldier because they all just line up in a row and shoot at whatever's moving.
We've got Hopper, the guy that's hopping back and forth like a madman.
Yeah.
We've got Sumo Pose.
Yeah.
We've got Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, we got Yosemite Sam.
And then we've got the one guy who actually took a small acting class on gun handling.
You have a spectrum from realistic to fucking cartoon character, and they're all shooting guns. No one can hit Jack Keller. He is behind a barrel, and then he's behind a post, and then he's behind a half fence. At one point, he's behind portions of the plot, and at no point is anybody hitting him. So he's clearly editing the bullets away with his magic editing powers. He's taken out the only other guy with editing powers, and he's unconscious over in the corner, and so he's definitely got an advantage. After somewhere between 116 and 348 shots are fired, Jack lines up one shot, bullseyes a dude to death. Then he gets Bernie Madoff into a headlock, but the gunman is already grinning like he knows a really, really messed up, perverted joke that he's about to tell everybody in. Slay.
Man, he looks like he's been wanting to kill his boss for a while.
He grins and grins and grins and then kills Bernie Madoff because what we're supposed to have figured out by this point is that the whole thing's double cross and the cops want Bernie Madoff dead as well.
God, this movie is just all over the place.
He shoots Bernie Madoff dead, the gunman, And then the cops show up right then.
Yeah, like they arrest one guy. Okay.
Well, Jack's probably killed everybody else.
Yes. They let the molester go.
And then what happens?
Then they go back to the molester's house.
Oh, that's right. They show up and they kill Bernie Madoff, and then the movie ends.
You work too hard, Jack. You really work too hard.
What carrier?
I legitimately thought that was the final scene in the movie.
And it ends. It ends. And then
Yeah.
we have a voiceover. Well, sorry, we have the until the next episode voiceover.
Yeah. Is he big? It's a question. Yeah, because if he's big, forget it. 5'4". Yeah. Is that off his driver's license?
Oh, right. I only work on midgets. That
Yeah,
scene.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's 5'4".
Little dude loved fire.
Yeah.
And then you get to maybe my favorite thing in the movie.
Yes.
Which is Jack gives her a call just to check on her, I think. I think he's done with his midget conversation and he just wants to check in on the woman that he's in love with.
Listen, I'm getting ready to leave, but you can give me a call at 555-8964.
I love the way that this movie stopped giving a fuck in this moment. I mean, I don't think it really did before, but here it's like, it's fine.
But you can give me a call at 555.
That's a shitty answering machine.
64.
Just picks up the last.
From Lionel's Repair. Your VCR is ready.
Lori, if you're checking messages, please make sure you don't rewind the tape. Please don't rewind the tape, okay?
I have the funds secure, Diller. Don't with me, Froman. All right, Diller, whatever you want.
The fourth message is, I'm doing crime.
I'm doing crime. He's going to do a crime.
More like, I'm worried about the crime we're doing.
Yes. Right after the message, she tries to call Jack back.
Jack.
Hey, what's up?
Diller and Froman. They framed Keller. They have the funds. Oh! No!
Did the phone just fall on the script?
He clubs her in the head and the phone drops down and immediately goes to, we're sorry if you would like to make a call.
And so Jack edits himself into the car, but then makes the drive.
You know, I thought I took care of everything, but there's always something.
No!
Hang up and try your call again.
Not everybody keeps their genitalia in the same place. And then she runs upstairs and hides in the closet, which gives Jack enough time to arrive because the molester cannot solve the closet conundrum.
Wait, what? He ran one way and then I guess that makes sense. Just bad editing still.
Sometimes they just don't light scenes. It's
lucky for her. Right.
He has never seen a movie. He has never read a book. No one in his life has ever hid in the closet, and it breaks his brain. People cannot find people who hide in this movie. It is not possible for these characters.
Diller, get your ass over here. I need your help now.
Calm down, Froman. I'll be right there.
Wait, what? He's still on the phone?
I thought he was driving there.
He was driving.
Yeah. No. That was him on another line calling the cop, even though the line hadn't been disconnected.
Right, Diller.
That was some terrible stuff right there.
God, this movie is just all over the place.
I'm out of energy. You keep going.
He hangs up the phone. He's like, aha, closets. I figured it out. And he runs back up the stairs and has a little bit of a heart attack and then goes to the closet, opens it. There she is, just crying and shaking. And he trains the gun on her and then does nothing.
No!
And then suddenly Jack appears?
He's so into pulling her hair, he forgot about the gun for a minute.
And he beats Molester until he's unconscious, and then they leave the gun next to him and walk out of the house.
When Jack and Lori come outside, the cop ambushes them. I mean, he totally gets the drop on them.
It was him the whole time, see? It was Diller all along.
And you got to remember, this is the guy that used an AK-47 as a sniper rifle. So he's a fucking surgeon with this shotgun. Not that it matters.
Get in and get down.
There's a much better way to use a gun, dude. Did he just haymaker his nuts?
He stands up, trains the gun on Jack, and then hits him with the butt of it.
Just beats the fuck out of him with the butt of the gun.
And there is a pretty funny moment where he's beating the fuck out of Jack with a gun.
And I don't remember, does Jack have his gun at this point?
Jack has his gun when he has his gun. I have the toes that I have.
Then Molester returns with his gun that got left with him.
Right, because we've left Molester alone with his gun upstairs, so he just shows up right when someone's got the drop on somebody and comes out blasting.
My gun. Oh. Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
That's why it just butted him with the gun. It doesn't work.
What? Wait, it said shit. He actually said shit.
That's amazing. Oh, that's great. They're laying on the ground and they're all staring up at the sky. Well, two of them are. One of them's dead. And then it cuts to a wide shot of the city and someone peeing.
Did you miss me?
Actually, I was hoping you'd left.
It just sounds like someone's peeing. It's not, it turns out, because then he's in a bath dangerously next to candles with that fucking hair. And she says, "Do you love me?" And he says, "Sure."
Yeah.
And then they're driving in the car in the clothes they had from halfway through the movie.
Yeah, because it's the shot they had.
I think it's kind of the end.
God, this movie is just all over the place.
This is terrible.
Yes, it is. First thing I want to talk about is the cinematography. I mean, I'm assuming they were shooting anamorphic lenses because that's really all you could rent.
They didn't look anamorphic. They looked like TV lenses.
Well,
it looked like it was shot on film, but it was shot on film with TV cameras, which I think is like a telltale sign of the camera technology of the time.
Yeah, well, everything was super TV flat. Any of the problems with this film get sort of filtered out because the chain of quality above it sits writer, director, editor. I really think that this would have not been a terrible movie in the same vein, at least, if the one credit had been removed from his tons of editor. If he had handed that off to a competent editor, I think we'd be having a much different, like this one.
So it was bad editing. There was definitely just a mountain of bad editing to the point where, like, he was bitten by a radioactive spider. The main character just gained editing powers by being something around that toxic. The only editing that I've seen worse are specifically well-known terrible films.
Yes.
That are terrible to the point of being genius. That's
Yeah.
the only editing I've ever seen worse than this movie. Because this movie, it forgot about time, order of events, logic, cohesion, everything.
Geography,
Yeah.
like everything. Dude, they are so much more than crossing the line in this scene.
You're lucky to be alive.
I don't even think they know what the line is. They didn't even know where the line was to avoid it. They just had people standing here and you're in the doorway, and since you're in the doorway, we're filming here, so you're gonna stand over there, but we can't fit the camera here, so we're gonna put it over there. And
Nope.
I don't think they didn't even know or plan any of this.
But the editing is also like constantly called to attention by the fact that whatever was captured in the camera was also displayed on screen from an audio standpoint too. It's like the movie didn't want you to miss the bad edits by also fucking up the sound to make sure the bad edits looked worse.
Yeah. Good storytelling, folks. So the Foley for this movie has got to be the laziest but most beautiful Foley I have ever heard in a film.
Well, no, because there's not actually any sound. It's just the Foley guy going crazy.
They might have done some actual sound studio Foley.
They may have poorly done some Foley themselves.
But every punch is an Indiana Jones punch.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
The gunshots are all the exact same gunshot sound. Every single engine noise was exactly the same. They were not different dependent on car. No tone shifting, no muffling.
Yeah.
Everything is full volume.
Yeah.
Everything is layered over everything else. The Foley is over the dialogue.
It can drown everything out.
It is the scene where they're in the parking garage doing the chase where they turn left is absolutely unbearably loud.
It's a good thing no one was talking in that scene because it just would have been their mouths moving.
Well, it's a good thing nothing was actually happening in that scene, too.
They were turning left, Taylor. A lot. The most inept things in this movie were the audio dropped 100% of the time whenever there was a swear.
You man, you want to go? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Give me the camera.
Oh,
Hey, the camera.
Well, you know what? I was just
asshole.
You ain't going nowhere.
And the movie has nudity and swearing in it. Like,
well, it actually
doesn't.
The terrible blur effect for the nudity.
These things really aren't worth working through.
And the cut to commercial fades.
Yes.
When you look for all of the pieces, they're there, but you have to look for them. There was no showing and there was also no telling.
The movie was competently-ish filmed. The movie was competently-ish acted. The plot was coherent-ish. But you had to struggle to figure out what the hell was going on in this movie. But I think the ish kind of applies to everything. Okay, but all of that being said, and all of this criticism, and as much as we've ragged on this movie, I have to give this movie a bunch of props for terrible, awful, hilarious, badass B-movie fight scenes.
Yes.
Because they were off the chain.
My favorite part, hands down, has got to be the art house snake ankle scene. I legitimately love it.
I don't think it gets better than that in the whole movie.
What are we gonna do? Run around the desert naked?
All right, I gotta go in there.
And thus Burning Man was invented.
There's no reason for it to be there.
Nope.
It doesn't fit in with the rest of the movie, but there was a moment where we were not laughing at the movie, we were laughing with it.
If I have to say one good thing about this movie, it's that I have never seen editing as a superpower before.
This was just a legitimately bad movie.
Yeah.
This is a movie that you watch with other people.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch this alone, it would be awful and boring.
This is terrible.
Yes, it is. All right, so that was Powderburn. Let's get your ratings. Taylor.
I'm just gonna have to go straight one. This, despite the fact that I enjoyed watching this movie, the movie on its own merits was absolutely terrible and incompetent and bad.
I'm giving it a 2 because it legitimately made me laugh. I legitimately loved the ankle scene with the ankle acting. I absolutely do not think the movie deserves anything more than that, but I cannot give it a 1 because I enjoyed it and because I did really, really think those couple of things were interesting and I'd never seen them before.
Ratings are subjective and the reasons why you give them are fluid, but I have a cornerstone for this show and it's A Reckoning. So I have to give this 2 stars. I may spend the rest of my life shitting on the Reckoning movie, and I feel bad for that. Things happened in this film that we just watched. I don't know what all of them were, but they occurred. And so I can't give this movie a 1. So you did it, Sergey. Okay.
This is terrible.
So that was Powderburn. We gave it 2 stars. Thanks for watching, Your Lame Friends, in this episode of Deep in the Amazon. Please like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. We need it. And if you want to leave a comment, we would love for you to recommend a movie on Amazon that we start from to find a recommended nightmare that we have not seen before. Until then, sorry. Was that good?
No.
I can't sleep in clothes.
Do me a favor. Humor me.
He is Gay Perry.
I wanted to see you.
Oh my God, I just got that name. I just got it.
If I was forced to watch the movies we're watching without people with me to talk about the movies and kind of make fun of the movies. First of all, who's the psychopath doing that?